What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. The undisputed heavyweight matchup is in deep negotiations and close to being finalized, according to Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, aka Eddie the Con Artist. Take that with a grain of salt, people, but it's said to be close to being finalized. He will take on the WBC heavyweight champion, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. He's also the Ring Magazine heavyweight champion, and he's a universally recognized #1 heavyweight in the division. This fight will be for undisputed. The fight is going to take place either of these 3 dates, July 24th, July 31st, or August 7th. The fight will take place in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. One of the cities that they're looking at, that's the front runner from what I'm hearing, is Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. They've had a lot of big time sporting events there, and they're looking to stage that fight in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Now, if the fight gets done, that's going to affect 2 fighters in particular. It's going to affect a lot of different fighters, actually, but 2 fighters in particular, that being Alexander Usyk and Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Alexander Usyk, who was the cruiserweight undisputed cruiserweight champion, is going to be looking to become a unified heavyweight champion if Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua falls through. He is the #1 rated in the WBO, and he's the mandatory contender for the WBO heavyweight title. He will have a chance to not only pick up the WBO title, but he will have a chance to pick up the WBA and the IBF title. And he will be trying to make history, especially in the Ukraine, becoming the first fighter to be undisputed in the cruiserweight and in the heavyweight division. He'll be one step closer if he's able to knock off Anthony Joshua. So he's an interested observer in these negotiations. So if the fight don't get done, look for AJ versus Alexander Usyk. Deontay Wilder is another interested observer of the Fury-AJ negotiations, drawn out of negotiations at that. This I don't know what's taking longer, the negotiations or the arbitration involving Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Both of them are getting dragged out a long time, man. This is ridiculous, man. This is going longer than the OJ trial, man. This is it's ridiculous, man, how long this thing is taking. But if the fight does not go down, look for Deontay Wilder to get his 3rd fight with Tyson and Gypsy King Fury. If he does happen between Fury and AJ, Deontay Wilder gonna get that bag, y'all. He gonna get that money. Because he's saying, look, I'm missing out on a 3rd fight. It was in the contract. The fight got pushed back and ultimately didn't happen because of the COVID-19 and the 2 networks, Fox and ESPN, not having a date available for that fight. That has nothing to do with me. I wanted to fight. I can't help it if the 2 networks that are gonna put on this fight, that also put on the 2nd fight, don't want to have it on that particular date due to college football conference championship games. That's not my fault. That's not my fault that the COVID-19 came and we're not allowed to have fans, and Team Fury wanted the 3rd fight to take place in front of fans. You know, I wanted the fight to take place in front of fans too. I preferred it to take place in front of fans, but if we could have did a pay-per-view fight similar to the way the Charlo brothers did theirs in front of no fans and based our money off the pay-per-view revenue, I would have okayed that too, because that's how desperate I want to get my WBC heavyweight title back. I think Deontay Wilder would have signed off on that, but Team Fury, especially Frank Warren and Bob Arum, they all about the money, man. They want to maximize their money. They're not going to take short money in no situation, especially a fight of this magnitude. So the fight ended up passing the deadline date of October, and the fight did not materialize. And now Deontay Wilder is seeking compensation for missing out on the 3rd fight. And if that is the case, look for Deontay Wilder to take on Andy Ruiz in the latter part of 2021 on Fox pay-per-view. That fight probably will take place on the West Coast, either Los Angeles or in Las Vegas. That fight will take place on the West Coast, no doubt. Now, Deontay Wilder could take an interim fight before he takes on Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz have a leg up on him because he fought Chris Arreola last week, so he will be a little bit more active fighter, been in the ring. More recently, he'll have that advantage over Deontay Wilder, who's been out the ring for over a year now. So Deontay Wilder's not a rhythm fighter. He's not a fighter that's basically a technical fighter like, you know, a Chance Crawford or Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade or a Tony Harrison. Guys like that are technical fighters, the guys that are rhythm type of fighters. You know, Vasily Lomachenko, guys like that, rhythm type of fighters. A long layout will affect those guys. But Deontay Wilder is a puncher boxer. He can box now, but he's a puncher first. He's looking to set up that right hand. He's got a good left jab. He's got a good jab to the body. And he's got a decent short left hook that he throws. He actually knocked out Luis Ortiz and put him out for good in that second fight. In the first fight, my mistake. He caught him with a right hand to the forehead in the second fight. But in the first fight, if you go back and watch, he actually won that fight with his left hand, with a straight left. Well, not even a straight left, but a count with basically a short left hook. He was able to knock out, well, put down for the count, and the referee stopped the fight as Luis Ortiz was fatigued and badly hurt, and that fight ended up getting stopped in a very entertaining fight. Fight that was quiet as kept, was one of the best heavyweight matchups in the last 10, 15 years, man. That was a great matchup involving Deontay Wilder and King Kong Luis Ortiz. So he'll probably go that route if the fight does not happen between himself and Tyson Fury. Get an interim fight and then fight Andy Ruiz on Fox pay-per-view, or maybe take on Prince Charles Martin in an interim fight, or Otto Wallin, win that fight and then take on Andy Ruiz in a Fox pay-per-view fight in the latter part of 2021. He's got two different directions he can go to if he is not able to get the third fight with Tyson Fury. Now, if he does get the fight with Tyson Fury, that's going to affect Andy Ruiz, as he's going to have to look for another opponent. Now, if he don't get the Deontay Wilder fight, look for him to get matched up with King Kong Luis Ortiz. And that could be a big matchup on Fox pay-per-view to take place in the latter part of 2021. Now, if Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua does go ahead and then Deontay Wilder fights Andy Ruiz, Luis King Kong Ortiz is going to be looking for a dance partner. And that's where you come in, Dillian Whyte. You ain't got nobody to fight. You supposed to be coming over here to the United States, right? That's what your promoter, Eddie Hearn, said. He said your next fight going to be in the U.S. So the best bet is for you to fight King Kong Luis Ortiz in your U.S. debut. We all know that ain't going to happen. Eddie Hearn ain't finna put him in there. No, a southpaw, very skilled, technical fighter that's a good puncher. And you already know that Dillian Whyte can get put to sleep without the NyQuil. Just ask Alexander Povetkin. Just ask Anthony Joshua. But that could be a matchup that people have been clamoring for the last 3 years. A matchup involving Luis King Kong Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte. But what the scenario looks like it's going to play out is Dillian Whyte going to be the guy that's left at the altar. He going to be the guy on the outside looking in. He going to be that kid that's in the detention classroom, in detention, looking outside the window, watching the kids out there playing on the monkey bars, out there playing in the sandbox, out there playing on the slides, out there playing on the seesaw. And you sitting there in detention, ain't able to go play with your fellow classmates. He could be that person, could be that kid, if he's not careful, if this situation plays out the way I just mentioned. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But AJ Fury, either way, is going to have a domino effect on the heavyweight division. It's going to affect Deontay Wilder. It's going to affect Alexander Usyk. It's going to affect Andy Ruiz. It's going to affect King Kong Luis Ortiz. It's going to affect Dillian Whyte. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury is close to coming to fruition, according to Eddie Hearn. Take that with a grain of salt, people. We'll see what happens in the coming days. And if this fight finally gets pushed over the line and gets announced and takes place in the summer of 2021. Let me know your thoughts about the domino effect of a potential AJ Fury fight happening and not happening. Let me know your thoughts. And hit the like button if you like the content of this video. And subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I'll holla.